OK, they began with a single motorbike 7 years ago, only 7 years ago, and they've grown to close to 100 volunteers. Today, they're a vital and integral part of our health service, but they do their work so quickly and quietly that you may not have met them. I want to welcome to the studio the volunteers of Blood Bikes East. Give them a round of applause. Franco, I'm going to talk to you first. You brought in this magnificent example of a blood bike to us. What is it that you do in the blood bike service?
Well, as you said, it is a relatively new concept to Ireland, but a lot of people don't realise it actually started back in the 60s in the UK. And it was formed from the need to really transport quickly and efficiently any items that hospitals need, taking from point A to point B. Typically that involves, we would look at sort of samples, any form of samples. It could be patient records, medication, and more today it's human donor milk, which is required, very important for premature babies to give them that vital start in life. So it's anything that's required transporting.
So you sign up. Brendan, you might tell us about this, how it works. You sign up, and we'll go into the details of who can sign up to this in a moment. But you sign up, you go to the depot and you collect the vehicle. You go home and you wait for the call to come.
Exactly. So our depot is there at the Red Cow roundabout. So it's fairly central for north and south. We have 3 riders on call at any given time, so one on the north side, one on the south side, and one for country link-ups. You sign out your bike, as we have shown you, and you've done your checks. You go home and you just wait for the call. Our controllers work from their home as well. The hospitals will ring the controller, and the controller will then assign whichever rider is closest to the hospital. The bikes are tracked, so we are very good at having support from a company in that context. The controllers can see precisely where the locations are, and they just assign the rider. The rider turns up, collects the material, brings them from the hospital to the laboratories or to another hospital. Sometimes it's ICU in another hospital as well.
OK, depending what the call-out is. Denver, you're here as well. You're very busy. It's a very busy service. How many call-outs do you have a year?
It's a hugely busy service. We had close on 4,000 last year. We are about to beat that in the next few months. It's just growing exponentially every year.
So if you're a volunteer and you sign up for this, chances are you are going to get a call in that 8 to 12-hour shift, or a couple of calls?
Unless you're me, because every time I sign up for a shift, I get one call and then I'm to bed.
Right.
But generally speaking, when I'm not on call, yeah, you're going to be busy.
OK.
You know, we average about 3 or 4 calls per rider per night.
All right, well, let's talk to some people now who are beneficiaries of the service. And we're joined, first of all, by Louise. Hi, Louise. How are you? Tell us how you are a beneficiary or a user of this service.
So my son Alex was diagnosed with leukemia in June 2017. And very quickly, within maybe 8 weeks, the hospital were trying to train me to take his bloods to give us more time at home. I contacted Brendan, and he came out straight away and said, yeah, we'd love to help. So at that point, he was seriously ill. So blood bikes were coming, maybe twice a week. Now we're in maintenance treatment for about 2.5 years, and they come every Monday, collect his blood sample and take it to Crumlin Free, which means basically that I can go to work full time. I don't need to ask anybody else for help, so it's really priceless for the families.
Because otherwise that would have meant hospital visits, would it? Or doctor's visits at least?
Absolutely. And I mean, they kept him in school a lot, even during heavy treatment when he may have been in hospital all day. He could actually go to school because you're driving to Crumlin, you're waiting for a nurse to take bloods, it takes the day. So actually they gave him a lot more time in school and at home living a normal life. Yeah,
but I suppose kudos for you as well for learning how to take the bloods yourself. I mean, that's a huge part of the job too, right? It's not easy for a mammy to have to do that.
It's hard, but it's really worth it for every member of the family, because it means that, Alex and his sisters had me there more, so it's really the whole family benefits.
And is it the same biker every time who comes to collect?
No.
Different people?
Different people, but I'm getting to know the guys now. Tom has come to me quite regularly lately, but I think I've met most of the guys at some point.
So have we some bikers here? Ladies beside you? Yes? Go ahead. Tell us what you do.
I'm a volunteer rider,
yeah.
But I also helped out in control as well. Now I am managing lots of different operations involved in Blood Bikes East, one of which is looking for volunteers. There was always this conception that you had to be a biker to volunteer with Blood Bikes East. That's not the case. We've lots of volunteers who don't ride motorbikes, but they do drive cars, can answer a phone, and they can work a computer. or shake a bucket.
Okay, so it's not just bikes then. I mean, that's really good for people to know if they're thinking about volunteering and they're not a biker. You've got cars there as well that you can pick up.
And one of the things about the family support is, generally speaking, when a family approaches us for the first time, we will go out and have a conversation, and then we'll create a little team around that family. So it's not one person all the time. It's around 5 or 6 people, but it's specific to that family. So that guarantees coverage all the year round. And it is important for the families as well, because an illness in the house doesn't affect just one person.
Of course, it affects everybody, yeah.
And when you have other children there, it's important to make as normal life as possible, because that will aid treatment.
And as Louise says, this is what helps, if you can keep people at home and not have to do those visits all of the time. Now, Maura, beside you, you have Anne and Una. You're the real bosses here, aren't you? Because you see, the lads are all nodding. You're making the calls and getting them out there and organising everybody.
Out of bed in the middle of the night. Yeah.
I'd say you love doing that, do you? But are you taking calls at all hours of the day and night? Is that part of the gig for you?
Yeah. We generally take the phone for a week at a time.
A week?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Monday to Friday, we only start at 7 in the evening through the night. But it doesn't mean you don't get calls. You don't get a lot of calls during the day. And then at the weekends, it's 24/7.
Right, a busy job.
Yeah.
We have some more beneficiaries, or some more people who know the value of this work, sitting in the row behind you there from the Rotunda. You're very welcome. Thank you for being with us. And we heard Brendan and Franco telling us about human breast milk, which is transported a lot by the blood bikes. Tell me what that means to you and the difference that it makes. Who wants to take that?
I suppose breast milk is very important for every baby, but more importantly for our very tiny premature ill babies in the intensive care unit in the Rotunda. And we've been working with the blood bikers for probably the last 2 years now. And I suppose the difference they've made to us is, if we've got a mother we know is going to have a premature baby, and some babies are transferred maybe to Crumlin for cardiac surgery, and we can reassure those mothers that they don't have to worry about getting their colostrum to the hospital. We can arrange that, and we arrange it through the guys. We ring up Anne or one of them, and they will have somebody out to us within half an hour, and they'll ring and say, it's been done, maybe 20 minutes later. Very efficient and very reliable.
Yeah, and it needs to be very efficient, because there's a shelf life there, isn't there?
Yeah. It is very important, and it's very important we get it to the babies very quickly, because even the very tiny premature babies get breast milk, even little drops of breast milk on a daily basis to protect their gut, which is very important, because necrotizing enterocolitis can be something that can be detrimental to those very tiny babies.
So I assume then you're all very grateful to the men and women of the service.
Extremely. Just another thing, the milk bank up in Enniskillen really, really need more donor milk. So the women of Ireland, Lorna Herm, would you just give your breast milk?
Yes, and we have the team here to transport it. Brendan, you were going to tell us earlier how you become a rider with the service. Now, I want to talk first of all about the people who will use the motorbikes. I know you said that you have drivers who can take part as well, and you're happy to see those people. But ultimately, what sort of qualifications do you need to have to join the service?
Well, you have to be over 25 or 25 or over. You have to have a full rider's licence for a minimum of 2 years. We will require you to have an insurance assessment on your riding skills. But then within 6 months, we expect you to train yourself. We will help you with the training to get up to what's known as ROSPA standard, which ROSPA Gold will be the equivalent of a Garda
so an advanced standard.
Standard. And we will bring you through training in relation to the machines, how to sign them out, but also you have to be Garda vetted. Because it's very important to our client hospitals that everybody who's coming onto the premises, everybody knows who they are and anything else that we need.
Now,
plus, we train them in good distribution practice. So that's pharmaceutical industry standard training on the handling and carriage of material.
OK, now your Blood Bike's East, but there are lots of other blood bike organisations around the country, and we're going to put up on our screen in just a moment. Oh, you've seen that already at home, all of the contact details and the website addresses for the other organisations, and I know that you all work together closely, but the bottom line is you need more people signing up to help you. Isn't that it, Denver?
We do. We need lots of more riders. We're kind of targeting about 120 riders to just make sure that we have enough on call at the right times.
So you have 97 now?
We've 97
You
at
need
the moment,
120.
And car drivers.
More car drivers.
We have a porter down here which carries the milk. Sometimes those deliveries are very bulky, which is why we need the cars, and we need car drivers to do that also. OK,
well, look, thank you very much for coming in. I hope you get lots of people signing up after this tonight, and lots of people to take the phone so you don't have it 24/7. Thank you very much. A round of applause for Blood Bike's East. OK, before I move on, I have a question for our studio audience, if you could help me out here.